Hello and welcome back to the Think Retirement channel. I'm Johnathan Rankin, and there are big changes that could be coming to Social Security, and by the looks of it, could be leaving a lot of people very frustrated. In this video, we're going to break down all those potential changes that could be coming and the actual changes that are in effect right now to Social Security, and we're going to finish up with how you can incorporate these changes into your own financial plan. Now, before we do that, make sure you hit the subscribe button so you're always up to date on the latest in the world of retirement. Now let's dive into a topic that impacts nearly every single American, because it's undeniable that Social Security benefits are crucial for many people in this country. In fact, almost all adults, 97% of adults over the age of 60 are either receiving or will soon be receiving these benefits. As of February 2023, around 1 in 5 U.S. residents was supported by Social Security. Now, despite its widespread use, it's pretty surprising how little people actually know about this program. And most of the talk about Social Security lately has been about its uncertain future and the litany of headlines about how the program is going bankrupt. And just the other day, the Social Security Administration announced a series of key investments in 2025. And this comes after President Biden's budget proposal for fiscal year 2025. Now, the biggest headline coming out of this was the promise not to cut benefits. So if you're worried that your benefits were going to be cut in the near future, good news, they're not. Now, this comes as a relief to a lot of people, but this shouldn't be a surprise to anybody. I mean, let's face it, despite all the headlines out there about how Social Security is going bankrupt, it will still be a political decision to make those cuts. And I could not in a million years actually imagine a cut to Social Security benefits would happen in an election year. Now, in my opinion, I don't know if we're ever going to see a politician come out and negatively impact Social Security benefits. It doesn't matter if you're Republican or if you're a Democrat, the goal of a politician is to do what? Get reelected, and upsetting the largest voting demographic isn't going to help that cause. Now, despite announcing that there's not going to be any reductions in benefits, the Social Security Administration is going to be making some changes, so let's dive into those. And one thing they have proposed is the establishment of a leave program. Now, this upcoming budget proposal outlines significant changes to family and medical leave, and the goal is to establish a nationwide comprehensive paid medical and family leave initiative that is overseen by the Social Security Administration. I know you might be worried, wait a minute, we're going to hand another thing over to the government to handle for us? Now, part of this initiative is that there are going to be funds that are going to be allocated to establish a program offering up to 12 weeks of leave, enabling eligible employees to take time off for a number of different reasons. That could be things like paternity leave, caring for a seriously ill family member, recuperating from your own illness, or managing situations if you have a loved one that's going on military deployment. And the other part is what's called a safe leave, where they're going to establish the ability for someone who is seeking safety from domestic violence or sexual assault. And this is going to give them the opportunity to take time off of work while being paid to find that safe haven. So the Social Security Administration highlights that a considerable portion of Americans lack access to employer-sponsored paid leave, including 73% of those in the private sector. Now, in addition to the leave program, the budget outlines plans for increasing the tax on the wealthy and corporations, and part of the proposal also includes a 9% increase to the Social Security operating budget so it can improve its customer service. Now, if they can just funnel some of those funds over to the DMV, maybe we'd all be happier as well. Now, those are just some of the proposed changes that could be coming to Social Security, but let's talk about the changes that are already here right now that you may or may not be aware of. Now, let's start off with the cost of living increase for 2024. Now, the increase is 3.2%, which is down from what it was last year, but it's still above its long-term average of 2.6%. Now, what's made people extremely frustrated is that the projected 2025 cost of living increase is only 2.4%. which is crazy to think that that number is actually up from what it was projected in January at 1.75%. Now, these are just projections, and by the looks of it, could be way off, especially with CPI coming in hotter than expected at 3.2%. Now, the inflation we've seen over the past few years might be coming down, but prices are still going up. It's not like things are getting cheaper. And it's understandable why so many people could be frustrated to think that the cost of living adjustment for Social Security is going to be less than what you're paying for eggs and milk at the grocery store. Now, starting this year, more of your income will be subject to Social Security taxes because they're bumping up the maximum earnings limit to $168,600, which is up from $160,200 in 2023. So depending on your income, you might notice that a bit more is going out for Social Security, because right now, workers, so you and I, we chip in 7.65% of our paychecks to FICA taxes, and 6.2% of that is earmarked for Social Security. Now, the maximum that someone can get if they're taking their benefits at full retirement age has also gone up. It was $3,627 in 2023, and now if you take your Social Security at full retirement age, it is now $3,822 if you're getting the maximum amount. Now, this adjustment only impacts those who claim their benefits at full retirement age, which currently ranges from 66 to 67, depending on the year that you were born. Now, individuals who claim their benefits early, like always, are going to receive a smaller monthly payment. Now, for the last major change for 2024, it is that there is a higher earnings test on the horizon for those who choose to work while receiving Social Security benefits. If you earn above a certain threshold, you might be subject to this test. And in 2024, the earnings that are exempt from this test will go up to $22,320. That's up from $21,240 in 2023. So for every $2 that you earn above this limit, then you will see a $1 reduction in your benefits being withheld. Now, keep in mind that this doesn't apply once you reach full retirement age. As you can see, the future of Social Security is evolving with both proposed and enacted changes, all aimed at ensuring that it's sustainable and effective for generations to come. Now, that doesn't mean that the Social Security is bankrupt articles are going away anytime soon. They're always going to be there. But there are adjustments on the horizon that could impact how people plan for their retirement. At the end of the day, what can you do with this information, and what should you do with this information? Now, as a financial advisor, or even someone who's just focused on your own retirement, look, we can't control what the cost of living adjustment is going to be, or whether or not benefits are ever going to be reduced, or how much we're taxed while we're working to pay for Social Security. Now, what we can do is we can plan with the information that we have today, and then we stress test that plan for the worst case scenario. Now, for example, what if Social Security's cost of living is less than inflation, not just for 1 year, but for the foreseeable future? How does that impact your financial life? You should model that out and see what it looks like. What if benefits eventually get cut in half at some point? How's that going to impact your financial future? Now, these are just two of the worst case scenarios that I can think of, but I can also think of dozens of more. And I'm hoping that these never happen, but the one thing you want in retirement is you want confidence. And to get confidence in retirement, you want to make sure that you stress test your financial plan against any and all scenarios you can think of. If you haven't gone through an exercise like that, there's a link in the description below, and a member of our team would be happy to help stress test your financial plan. Thank you for watching, and make sure that you catch this video coming up next, because if you ever have an inherited IRA in your life, you're going to want to make sure you know exactly what to do with it. I'll see you there.